What's up everyone, Johnny the Geek here with a review on the Moza Air 2. If you want to see what comes with this basic unit, see the unboxing video. Starting with the exterior of the gimbal, you get a very well built all aluminum construction that has easy to move sliders for each of the axis arms. This design features an angled roll motor for non-obstruction of the back of the camera screen. The cradle is wider and deeper for bigger cameras like the Sony FS5, Canon C100, and the Blackmagic Cinema cameras. The cradle itself has a 7.4 volt output for powering either cameras or other devices, as well as a USB port for controlling cameras with one of the included cables. The other side has a multi-CAN and 12 volt output ports, all of which are for controlling and powering cameras, focus wheels, and other accessories. The camera plate is designed to be a quick release that snaps into the same position when you mount the camera to the gimbal. The idea is to be able to remove the camera from the cradle and remounting it without having to rebalance because the camera clicked into the exact same spot. Speaking of balancing, it's super easy to do, especially with the locking roll axis. I just wish there was more locks on the pan and tilt axis for easier travel portability. There's a USB Type-C and a DC input port. The USB-C port is only for communicating with the computer for firmware updates. The DC input port can only power the gimbal for infinite power. It does not, however, charge the batteries. On the front is a 3/4 threaded hole for mounting additional accessories like an articulating arm for a monitor or a light or a microphone. Underneath that port is a trigger that can be used for locking all the axes with a long hold. That brings me to say one of the things that I like the most about this system is that I have the options on how I want these buttons to work. So for example, the trigger defaults are double tap will center the axes and triple tap goes into selfie mode. That's typical on many gimbals, but I was able to change it to a single tap that recenters and a double tap for selfie mode. If I wanted to, I could disable any tap to do anything. And it's like that with the other buttons on here as well, like the focus wheel. It can either be used for focusing or it can be used for roll axis. That way I could still have the joystick to do the pan and tilt. A single, double, or triple tap on the joystick easily switches between lock and follow mode for all three axes, while the dial adjusts the speed on how fast the axis follows your movements. The battery compartment is easy to access and easy to remove and install batteries if you do it in the right order. This is more convenient than having to twist off the battery holder because the gimbal can remain standing while you're changing the batteries. Which, by the way, I got about 10 hours of use. Now, they advertise 16 and your runtime is going to vary depending on the payload you have as well as how well you balanced it. There's also an auto motor power calibration. What this does is that it adjusts the power of the motors based on your payload. On other gimbals, I can only choose low, medium, and high power, but I never really knew what the exact weight of a camera with a specific lens was, so this feature is going to take care of all of that. So the last physical feature I want to point out is the larger 3/4 threading on the bottom handle. This is a more reliable thread size if you want to attach this gimbal to a monopod. I was always a little worried when attaching a 1/4 threading size with a heavy load at the end of a monopod, but with this gimbal, it's secure. Now about those larger camera payloads. Yes, the C100 works on here, but not without some limitations. If you want to see what this can and can't do with the C100, leave a comment down below and maybe I'll make a separate video on it as well as some sample shots. So before I end this video, check out some footage I got at Anime Impulse. As always, thanks for watching and I'll see you in the next video.